Hello and good afternoon and welcome to Sidetrack, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. Right, well, it's been a bit of a mad 24 hours as far as Stargate goes. And after the news yesterday that Stargate is going to have its own channel on Peacock, I actually found out that is something that happens if you're in America. That's something that Peacock overdoes there. Peacock does over there quite a lot. It's quite new over here, so we haven't really got that. But we are going to be getting a Stargate channel. Hey Shelley, how are you? Good afternoon. So, also found out that Stargate is actually on Sky TV in the UK, which I also didn't know. I was watching it on Sky. It disappeared before Christmas. I didn't know it had reappeared. But anyway, so I'm mad 24 hours. But I immediately, after that news, because that threw me a bit, this news about Sidetrack going on to Peacock. So I immediately messaged the people in and around MGM that I talked to for a bit of an update about what's going on. I wasn't expecting quite as much information to come back so quickly. For one, I got a couple of apologies for them not mentioning that it was going on to Peacock, because apparently they knew. SG1 is on Netflix, but I believe that's in America. It's not here in the UK again. It was supposed to go off Netflix, though. It was big news that it was going off Netflix, and it just didn't happen, so I can only assume there was another deal went through. But that is actually part of what I'm going to be talking about. So first of all, the people I spoke to at MGM, they were saying as soon as this deal was finalised last week, which was a little bit of a surprise, they genuinely apparently thought, or the feeling with MGM was, that the deal would not go through that quickly. That this woman, the chair of the FTC, this Khan woman, would actually make it more difficult. They were not expecting the deal to go through quite as simply. But they had contingency plans for all scenarios. I've talked to you guys about that before, that there were contingency plans when it comes to Stargate. There was lots of other projects with exactly the same. If the deal went through quickly, they would do this. If it went through slowly, they would do this. And they had contingency plans. So as soon as the sale was confirmed, this kicked in apparently quite a lot of stuff they'd already planned. So the MGM employees have told me that actually there's been lots of memos flying around, sort of clarifying the position of how this relationship between Amazon and MGM is going to work now that basically this has gone through. Apparently they have had reassurances that there are going to be no redundancies, no big forced reshuffles of employees and staff and things like this. But the big thing here is apparently Amazon have reassured the MGM executives and staff that they're going to continue to basically only act as a customer, that Amazon are not going to force their will on MGM in any great lengths. They're also not going to force exclusive deals on MGM. The way that that's been explained to me is that the MGM staff have basically said they're still going to be allowed to do things like having deals and partnership deals with other studios like they do now. Lots of movies are in partnership, aren't they? MGM in partnership with Columbia or somebody else. Now, there was a lot of programs and a lot of projects already in that sort of being done that way, and that Amazon have no problem with those deals being continued. I think the main reason for that, and this is only my opinion here, but I think the main reason for that is MGM has so many deals with TV series, movies, and things like this on so many other different platforms. Bringing MGM products off all of those platforms where there are contracts in place would be damn near impossible and probably very expensive. So Amazon don't see the need to do that, basically, or at least not at the moment. The other thing, though, that means is that MGM can actually start selling its product on other platforms. This is probably one of the reasons why the Peacock deal was allowed to go through, because Amazon actually have no intention of stopping MGM from doing things like putting Stargate on a competitor's platform if there is a deal to be made. So there's no plans for basically Amazon to take over MGM and for MGM just become an exclusive studio for Amazon, which actually was something that was suspected to have happened. A lot of insiders and a lot of business specialists have been saying this for a while, that MGM would basically just become the studio for Amazon. That doesn't seem to be the case. Now, that's a good thing for lots of reasons, but mainly because MGM is actually one of the oldest, most successful studios in Hollywood. It's an institution. It would have been a shame if it had just become a puppet of Amazon Productions. So that's not going to happen. As I say, when the sale went through, there was contingency plans on top of contingency plans. So as soon as the deal actually went through, a lot of these contingency plans kicked in. And the MGM policy said all of a sudden, where they've been in limbo with lots of projects, all of a sudden there was clarity. And they were told very quickly. I mean, the one employee told me that within 24 hours of the deal going through, 18 different projects that he'd been working on, and that wouldn't be actually specific programs and things. It'd be lots of whatever he's working on that he's been basically waiting on for the green light or waiting for permission to move ahead with, got greenlit overnight. They basically need to go and crack on with it. So he was very, very happy. So lots of clarification. But what does that mean for Stargate? Well, again, there was actually some really big, dramatic news almost immediately. As you know, if you're a regular sidetracker to the channel, over the last 12 months or so, Stargate, well, actually 2 years, because I mean, it went into a sort of a limbo due to COVID initially, but then the last 12 months because of the sale to Amazon, the Stargate project has been in limbo. Like lots of other projects, though, MGM have been considering their options during this limbo period. One of the things they were doing was they were considering alternatives to Brad Wright's script. Amazon came in and also said that actually the script that they saw could have a slightly grander, could be a little bit more ambitious. Brad Wright seems to have listened. And we know from Joe Malozzi, who tweeted just a few days ago, that there is a second script and it's been completed. And we know that that second script is actually an update of the original. So Brad Wright has actually rewritten the original pilot. That rewrite seems to have gone down very well. Some point at the end of last week, this mysterious second script, who we still don't know who wrote it, I believe Joe Malozzi's name is on it, but I was told that he was attached to it somehow, but he was been asked by one of my amazing subscribers directly, do you know anything about it? And he's denied it. But to be honest, he probably would anyway. But also, I don't know for certain his name was attached to it. But this mysterious second script was being planned for some pitch meetings next week, and there was some art being produced for it for the pitch meetings. They got scrapped immediately. So that script is not happening. There were doubts, and that's been confirmed to me again today, that there were doubts over Brad Wright on whether he should showrun. But those doubts really did come from Amazon. Initially, MGM basically thought they had to cow down to MGM's to what Amazon wanted. It now turns out that MGM are more than happy to follow MGM's lead, or Amazon and follow MGM's lead, and allow them to make creative decisions. This is allowed MGM to actually make a decision, and it looks like that decision is to go with Brad Wright's pilot, or in particularly because he's done this rewrite that has been really well received. So as we stand right now, Brad Wright's project is the only one being considered. Brad Wright is by far and away a lead runner to showrun the new Stargate series. There are no other projects in line. There is a plan for a movie and potentially a plan for a prequel, but neither of those projects are being pushed forward right now, mainly because Brad Wright's project is far enough along. It's the project MGM always wanted to do, and now they've actually been told that they're going to be allowed to go ahead with it. So all happy days. I'm just checking it in the thing. I'm seeing some of the comments that are coming up and they're very strange. Somebody's talking about Mars. I don't know what that's about, but we'll leave it. So to move on. Joseph Malozzi's always also been quite active on Twitter. He was asked very directly again, well, what stage are we at? How many chevrons are encoded for us can get Stargate? He said a couple of years ago it was 5 chevrons encoded, but the 6th, 7th chevron are the hardest ones. He said it's still 5 chevrons. But he actually went on to say that Stargate coming back was inevitable. Now, that is a hell of a thing to say publicly from somebody that was an executive producer and somebody very heavily involved in Stargate. He talks a lot about Stargate. He's on Stargate podcasts and things all the time talking about the projects. He adores it. So for him saying it's inevitable really underlines what we've been talking about for the last 12 months about how Stargate is 100% going to be coming back to our screens. In what form? Well, we're now starting to understand what form, because Brad Wright has kind of told us. So there'll be no movie, no prequel. Brad Wright is the only one in the running right now. I actually put a little vote on the channel early on the community page. It got 39 votes. It's only been on a couple of hours, but 39 votes. I basically asked, do we think Brad Wright is the right man to lead Stargate into the future? 95% of the people that voted that said, oh, hell yes. So us fans are very excited about this. I want SG-1 and Stargate Atlantis Brad Wright. I don't want Stargate Universe Brad Wright. But from what Joseph Malozzi has said about what because he has read the script, that there is humor, that it's a funny script. He says the antagonist is really interesting. It's fantastic sci-fi, and it's nice to see some of the old faces back as well, which we know from what Brad Wright has said on his podcast, that at very least General Carter is going to be making an appearance. Now, to go on to a couple of rumours. Now, these are rumours. I do get yelled at sometimes for saying things and not making it very clear when something is a rumour. So a rumour is that Richard Dean Anderson is very interested in actually coming back and working with Brad Wright again. It is confirmed that he is going to be doing a read-along script on Brad Wright's podcast with Amanda Tapping and Michael Shanks and a few others. But that is leading towards him making some appearance on this new Stargate project. Again, a rumour. Now, I actually think that makes sense. For me, I would love to see him married to General Carter. Finally, they will, they won't they, sort of thing answered. But also, he won't have a big part. It will be a big part. He will be a retired general. They will be maybe going to him for advice or something along those lines, and he will have a small part now. But I just want to see him come on, crack a few jokes, and potentially and head off. This is a man who is in his 70s. Come on, people. He's not going to have a massive part in this. But he is actually officially never retired. He still does little projects here and there. He does a lot of volunteer work, and he's really quite he's an environmentalist, basically. He does a lot of work for the environment. But I could see him most definitely doing something like that. It is still under consideration that Amanda Tapping's part won't be huge. It'll be, I think, roughly like what Richard Dean Anderson did towards the end of his time with Stargate, where he'll come in for that episode. She is being tapped up, no pun intended, to direct, but also potentially to be an executive producer. I could completely see that working and being a very popular decision with the fans again if he decides to do that. So, where are we at right now? Well, there are still meetings planned for next week between executive producers of Amazon and MGM. Those will be very much involved with greenlighting certain projects, including apparently there is going to be at least one day set aside to discuss Stargate and another project. There are obviously massive movie projects and deals like this that will need to be discussed as well. Along those lines, apparently, what I'm being told is the decision to make Stargate has basically already been made, which is quite, actually makes me go a little bit it's a long way from getting to the official green light when they can actually start pushing ahead with this, though, because if you think about it, they have to think about a pilot. They have to think about what budget they want to do. They have to think about getting like the chief executives and things to sign off on these things. So it's a long run to actually get to the green light bit. But the basic decision to go ahead and actually do this seems to have been made, that they are going to be bringing Stargate back. The beautiful thing about a TV series rather than a movie which was apparently the plan for a few months. So that's generally what they thought Amazon wanted them to do. And Amazon apparently did quite like the idea of doing a movie first, is that a TV series can be on a screen within 6 months. A movie would take at least 18 months. If you think about it from back in the day, they used to produce 22 TV series, 22 episodes a year. That probably won't be the case. I'm being told again by I think that the chances are it's actually on our screens 8-9 months. If they decided and they greenlit it soon, from green light to on our screens, 6 to 9 months. Depends on how much they want to do. It would be probably 10 or 12 episodes a series. It would be along the lines I was talking about in the last video about how trying to do each little series would have a very specific plot, and that there would be then potentially, if that is popular, other projects would come along quite quickly, including potentially the Ancients prequel series. But the idea being that whatever projects they do would influence other projects. The game is also going to be quite important on this, because the game has been put back a couple of times, Stargate Timekeepers. That game coming out, they will want to have something greenlit or something that they can announce around that time. Again, today, I've been told that July 27th, the 25th anniversary of Stargate SG-1 airing on our screens, is a big date. And Amazon would love, and the marketing people would love to have something greenlit by that date. So please, guys, get in the comments really quickly. That's all the news I've got for you. Obviously, so it's a short video today, but if you've got any questions, if I can answer them, I will. And my phone has literally been going off constantly while I've been at work today. It hasn't bloody stopped. I've got pages of notes of things that there's been jumped on. But yeah, that's basically where we're at right now. Just by a quick thumbs up as well, everybody that's watching right now, how happy are we that Brad Wright is going to be involved? Like I said, I want SG-1 and SG Atlantis Brad Wright. I don't want SGU Atlantis. So come on, get into the comments really quickly, tell me what you think. I will just double check I haven't missed anything. No, that's it. So everybody is going nuts into the thing. Very happy. Thanks for the update. Wakey, by a thumbs up, Retro Arena. So thank you very much, guys. I am so glad to be able to give you this news, because it really is exciting. It's how mad is it to actually say, and to be, my confidence is like 98% confident that we're going to know something about this in the next 2 or 3 months. I mean, not just know like the confirmed, definite, 100% greenlit, filming, casting, all this sort of thing. That's an amazing thing to get from where we were when this got first announced, when Brad Wright first, nearly 3 years ago, said he was working on a script, to now. I mean, I was generally starting to worry 2 or 3 months ago this one's going to happen. There seem to be so many conflicting stories going on, so many conflicting things. SGU, right, I'll quickly talk about this. SGU was getting better, but it was my least favourite. And still Stargate, it's still Stargate. So, I mean, it's still better than 99% of shows out there. It just wasn't funny, and it was too dark, and it was too serious for me. It lacked the X factor of SG-1 and Stargate Atlantis. And that X factor was a bit of comedy. And that's what it missed, which is why I love Joe Malozzi saying that actually there's a lot of humour in this new TV series. So, fantastic. Ding, ding, love it. Okay, guys, I am going to run. I'm straight out of work. I'm knackered. I'm going to go get some sleep. I've not been very well, and I'm still doing this for you because I was excited to be able to tell you guys this. So please, if you are new to the channel, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, hit thumbs up on the video. Don't hit thumbs down. Thumbs down helps nobody. And I will catch you all next time. Please share the video wherever the hell you like. Everybody, stay safe, and I'll see you really, really soon. Thanks, guys.